The government is keenly observing the macroeconomic stability, looking at unemployment, balance of payment, and interest rates and exchange rates to ensure that the private sector continues to have an environment under which it operates. There's a committee in government to address the medium, long-term and short-term effects of the Ukraine-Russia war, and the recommendations of the committee by PS Muya of Treasury will be shared soon. The government is taking into consideration all our externalities to ensure a sustainable response as Kenya. The government has made sure that there is enough funding available for elections to propel the transparency and credibility of the elections. The government is looking at a national tax policy to ensure there is certainty in tax and the medium-term revenue projections. The government has challenged the private sector to task the next administration to continue with the digitization in the land sector and to continue with the reforms that are going on there. And the government has injected about 10 billion Kenya shillings in the rehabilitation of the gauge railway, the one gauge railway, MGR, from Naivasha, medium gauge railway, from Naivasha to Malaba, and also convinced Uganda to do an MGR upgrade from Malaba to Kampala, which is about 360 kilometers. This will ensure seamless connectivity. The Kenya Police has its disposal many trained units to manage any insecurities, threats in the country over the election period and support the IEBC to conduct the elections and the sectors, whether it's the health workers, whether it's the teachers and all that. So all those will be supported through that period so that there are no eventualities. The government has assured that there is sufficient connectivity in the country, which is now at 96.4% coverage. The government has also put in place the right infrastructure to manage social media engagements, cybercrime and fake news. Further, the government has assured that there is no fear on the elections being rigged, adding that necessary laws are in place already governing all and ensure that there is no fear on the election being rigged by any side of the government. We've also discussed about Mkenya Daima and how we continue to partner with government on the initiatives of the Mkenya Daima to ensure that there is peace and a peaceful transition. What we are challenging all Kenyans is kagua kabla ya kuchagua. Please evaluate your leaders before you elect them. We know the governing questions around this election is anti-corruption and the economy, and so this is what we are challenging Kenyans, and that we also, as the media, we propel the information, the facts, so that Kenyans have all the information that we need.
We recognize that together as a community, we have ideas and solutions that we should be able to harness as we take the country forward. This is a culmination, and we will continue. We'll meet with the president in a little bit. In terms of the conversation and issues, I think we have demonstrated from the government side that all the issues that KEPSA has been raising have been addressed, even if they are recent ones. The recent one, of course, being the impact of the war in Russia and Ukraine, the impact on food, the impact on fuel, the impact on fertilizer, and already within government, we have started to address that, and some of them have already been announced. Say, for instance, the fertilizer subsidy. The ministers of finance in East Africa have addressed the matters of access to critical items in the region and have already made decision during their pre-budget consultation. So nothing really catches us by surprise.
We are all stakeholders in the future of our country, and our continued conversations, such as we are having with the private sector today, have been part and parcel of how we move forward. We've had a fantastic time with the private sector, and on my own behalf and on behalf of my colleagues in government, I would like to thank them very sincerely, because we worked together. We don't have the time to go back like we have done this morning, reflecting on how we work together with the private sector in the war against COVID-19, how we have worked together with them when we have had challenges of one kind or the other, and how we are going to work together to confront whatever challenges we have to deal with in the lead up to the general elections, including food prices, the cost of fuel and so on, and moving goods and services across the country. So we are at a good place because of the decisions we have made and the counsel we have received from our colleagues in the private sector. Mine is to assure everyone again, on behalf of the executive branch of government, that our country is secure and safe, and that we are ready to support the IEBC to conduct the general elections, that no one needs to worry about anything. I have just asked this morning the private sector colleagues to continue making their orders, to continue making their business plans, expanding their businesses, because our country is secure and our country is safe. We will have a peaceful elections. We have no evidence whatsoever from across the country, because we are engaging on a daily basis. Sometimes we have come to a point of engaging almost on an hourly basis with the structures of administration and security across the country. We have no evidence at all that we are going to have any problem of any kind. We ask our brothers and sisters who are on the campaign trail, who are seeking leadership, to remember their citizenship responsibility and duty. This is our only home on earth. Let us not incite anyone, and let's be here. Kenya is here today. We have only been given a responsibility to run the affairs of the country now. Kenya will always be here, today, tomorrow, and always. Let's make sure that we keep our country safe, and we are all ambassadors of peace. That's what we have spent time this morning talking about. Preach peace wherever you go, live peacefully with everyone, and ask people to exercise their democratic right peacefully and in a manner respectful of others' rights, so that we cross over this. The election is an event that will come and go. Our country must remain peaceful as we go forward. And now, more than ever before, and I said this because I was in this role in 2017. When you look at where we are today, by this time in 2017, we had more incidents than we have now. In fact, the Inspector General of Police and I, who have been here this morning, have just demonstrated to the private sector that when you look at the number of incidents that we are dealing with at this point compared to the number of incidents we were dealing with in 2017, we are at less than a quarter of the incidents that we were dealing with in 2017, which means our country has come of age. Our people are mature. Our democracy has grown. And now is the time to march forward boldly and confidently, go through this electoral system in a manner that demonstrates to everybody that we are a mature country, a mature economy, that preserves itself and looks at itself today, tomorrow, and always.